Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today is October the 3rd. It is Friday. Okay, so the first couple of items that I'm going to show you are some of the lower end stuff. So I picked up this Sanyo VCR. I'm not sure if it's new. It is in there. The remote's in there. The manual's in there. I'm going to have to pull it out of the box. If it is new, it sucks because they did cut the tape, but at least I'll still be able to sell it, new open box. So I picked it up. It was $3. They had all of these other VCRs. This is a Sharp. This is Magnavox, and then an RCA. All of those are $3 each. If you watch my channel, you know that I'm into anything, vintage electronics. VCRs sell really good. None of these are really big ticket items. They're not going to sell for a lot of money, but I sell them on, a regular basis. I just got done shipping out 2 VCRs. Literally this morning, I shipped out 2 VCRs. So if you're out at yard sales, always be on the lookout for VCRs. But you do have to, kind of teach yourself what to look for in the terms of, brands and things of that nature. Some of them are worth, $20 to $30. Some of them are worth a couple of $100s. It just depends on, what it actually is. I picked up a couple of CDs. I usually don't go after CDs, but when they're really cheap, I will pick them up. She just said make a pile, and I'll give you a pile of CDs for $1. So I got some Star Wars stuff, some Star Trek stuff, and that's really about it. I don't really know what these are going to sell for. I'll probably lot them up, probably lot up all of the Star Wars stuff and then all of the Star Trek stuff. Then I got this little bin of jewelry. She just put jewelry and pins. And I just asked how much was the jewelry. She said it just depends on the piece. And then I said, what would you take for the whole box? She said, give me $10 for the whole box. And I went ahead and did it. Now, I'm a big jewelry person, so, you might not want to buy, a box of jewelry. But I already seen there was a couple of items in here that I could tell is silver. And I expect there's probably going to be a little bit of gold. Maybe, but all in all, $10. I'll take a risk. I'll gamble. That's a Fossil watch. So anyways, picked up that for $10. Showed you the electronics. I also have some clothing items, and I have a few other items in the bin. But I want to show you this item really fast because this is something that I think a lot of resellers would have passed on. So you might see saddles on a regular basis. Out at yard sales. You might see them at estate sales. You might even find one at a thrift store. You need to know how to kind of, identify a saddle and to tell, if a saddle is a quality saddle or not. There is so many saddles out on the market. There is really cheap ones that you can buy brand new for $150 to maybe $200. And then there is saddles that are thousands and thousands of dollars. So anyways, immediately right when I seen this saddle, I could tell that it's a pretty good, well-made saddle. I'm not a saddle expert by no means, but once I seen it, I kind of knew that it was a pretty good saddle. Now this is an English saddle. It's not a Western saddle. But anytime that you see a saddle, all you have to do is just flip up this piece right here, and usually you're going to see the maker of the saddle. So this one, it says your saddle maker, Michael J. Newton. So this should be a pretty decent saddle. It's made in England. It is in really good condition. It has a little bit of wear, but nothing like really major. I picked that saddle up. She wanted $25 for it, and I gladly gave her $25 for that saddle. I haven't really done, all of the research on that saddle. I think I should be able to get at least $250 to $350. That's what I'm shooting for. I will do some more research on it and probably learn a lot more about that saddle maker. But anyways, moving on to some other items. I did get some clothing items. There wasn't a lot of clothing at this sale, but they did have a bedroom that was dedicated to nothing but clothing. There just wasn't that much good stuff, so I didn't really buy that much. I got a pair of Miss Me jeans. I got a vintage pair of Reselling. These have been selling really good for me here lately. These style, I guess they're called bleached. I'm not really sure, but I picked up those pair. That's a pair of True Religion. And then I got a pair of the Levi Stratus. And then I got two pairs of, these are Harley Davidson. Anyways, the clothing was all $2 each. Everything in the bedroom was $2. The jackets, the pants, shirts, everything was $2. Now down here in this bin, I got this really decent looking lamp. Now this is just your regular office lamp, but it's got a solid, base to it. Not really sure what kind of metal it is, but it's a really nice, really old. For some reason, I have been doing really good with these little lamps on eBay. People are buying up stuff like this because it's just starting to get harder and harder to find, real vintage lamps like this from pretty much any time period now. I mean, people are just throwing this type of stuff away, so be on the lookout for stuff like that. People buy this type of stuff to use it. People buy this type of stuff to use it as props in movies and stuff like that. But people still like this type of stuff. Older stuff like this. Don't think that it's worthless just because it's old. Don't think that it doesn't have any value because it's not all shiny and clean looking. People like that look. People want stuff that has a patina on it. People want stuff that's old and not really shiny. There's a lot of these lamps on the market that are like reproductions, lamps that are made to look like they're vintage, but really they're modern. They're just 100% modern, and usually you can always tell by obviously the way that it looks, the way that it's made. Another key thing is to always look at the plug. You can always tell by the plug what time period it was made in, and just the overall construction of the actual item. So anyways, I picked that up. That was really cheap. I think it was like $3 or $5. So that was a pretty cheap lamp. I will probably get $40 for it. And I charge shipping, so probably $40, maybe $50, something like that. I got this this purse. This is just a Dooney and Burke, but it does have a little bit of age on it. It's not like a modern Dooney and Burke. She had $1 on it. Now this is the kind of stuff that you have to pick up. Now most resellers would look at this, they would automatically just think Dooney and Burke, it's not that high end of a brand, it's not worth a lot of money, but this is just an easy flip, bread and butter type item. This one actually has a little bit of age on it. I don't know exactly when this would have been made, but just by the way that it's made, the metal buckles, things of that nature, the leather, I definitely think it does have a little bit of age on it. I'll have to do some more research and determine when it was made, but I think that should be an easy sell. I will probably clean the leather up. Over the years, being a reseller, you learn how to clean shoes, you learn how to clean leather, you learn how to kind of recondition items, because that's when you're going to get the best bang for your buck. I could just throw it on eBay just like it is and probably sell it, and I wouldn't have a problem selling it, but I just won't get as much money as I would if I put a little bit of time in it. Now, am I going to spend an hour cleaning and reconditioning this purse? No. Am I going to spend 20-30 minutes? No. I mean just basically just wiping it down, trying to get like a little stain like that off of it and putting some leather conditioner on it, and then photographing it, listing it, and then letting it sell. So anyways, let's move on to the next item. I picked up a vintage pair of boots here, and I picked up This was all in the same area, so I did like a bundle deal. The only item that was not included on this deal was this purse and the lamp. But everything else inside of this bin was kind of in the same area, so I basically just said, hey, would you do like a bundle deal if I just put everything in the bin? And she said sure. So anyways, this is a number 6 Stanley plane. It's in pretty rough condition. It needs some TLC, it needs some love, but overall, it doesn't really matter the condition on these. People buy them to use them, people buy them for display pieces, and when they're cheap, you might as well pick them up. Now, there are some that are really worth some pretty good money. I just sold one not too long ago. It was an older vintage Stanley. I can't remember the exact model number, but it sold for over 150, and it sold within just a few minutes of me listing it. So always be on the lookout for these vintage planes. Also, I got a little one here, and I can't make out exactly what it says on it, so I don't really know exactly who this is made by. It is missing the front handle, but got that one. And then I got this one, which is a Craftsman. This one's not as old as that other one, but it'll still sell. Okay, moving on to the next item, I got this pair of boxing gloves. I actually just recently sold a pair of boxing gloves just like this. I think they sold for $40, I think. So that wasn't a bad deal. And then I got these boots. Now, I tried to ask her about the details of these boots. She said they were I want to say they were her grandfather's. Now, the lady that I spoke to wasn't that old. She was probably in her 20s. So I'm not really sure exactly how old these boots are. But she said that her grandfather was in the military and he was a jump man. But I don't know if these are his boots or not. So I'm going to have to do some research. They definitely look like they have some age on them, but they do look like they were resoled at one point because the soles on the shoes don't match the age of the actual boot itself. So I'm going to have to do some research on these and actually figure it out. But these are actually pretty decent boots. They're not in the best shape in the world, but if they turn out to be real, military jump boots, they could sell for some pretty decent money. So I'll do some more research on this. I'll let y'all know in the next video that I upload. But yeah, that was a pretty good score. So all of this that I just showed you, I paid $20 for all of it inside the bin. Did like a little bundle deal. So let's move on to the next item. Okay, we're going to move on to some other items, and obviously you can tell that the sun is out. Sorry about that, my battery died last night. So anyways, these are some shoes. Obviously it's not the same shoes that the box is. Those are some kind of men's walking shoes. I guess they just tossed these in there. But yeah, these are Heartland genuine leather loafers. They appear to be new, so I got those. I also got a pair of brand new Dr. Comfort diabetic shoes, and I also got another pair of Dr. Comfort diabetic shoes. So I paid $5 each for those shoes. I'm not really sure exactly what they're going to sell for. I have some experience with the Dr. Comfort brand before. I've sold those before, and they usually sell really good. So hopefully those sell really good. Okay, so let's move on to what I consider to be the best item. Not only because it's, obviously the item that's worth the most money, but to me it is just a really, really cool item. An extremely unique item, a rare item, an old item. And this is something, that a lot of resellers probably would have passed on if they didn't know what it was. Yes, I've seen resellers pass on stuff like this all the time. They look at something like this, they say, yeah, it looks really old, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know how much all of these old tools are worth. I'm not going to risk my money. So anyways, I walked into a bedroom at the estate sale, and I seen this beautiful early 1900s. This is made by Union, and it's just a oak wooden toolbox. And usually, most likely, this was used by a machinist, and it is a beautiful box. I mean, the way that this box was made is just unbelievable. You could not find anything like this made like this today. It just has some of the most, gorgeous features. The leather handle, the patina that's on all of the metal, the patina that's on all of the wood. For all of you out there, newer resellers that don't know a lot about antiques, collectibles, vintage items, things of that nature, anytime you come across an item like this, something that is extremely old and it shows that it's old, don't try to clean it. Don't try to, make all of the metal fittings and latches look shiny. You don't want to do that. That will decrease the value of the item. You could potentially really damage the item by just trying to rub this down or clean it or anything of that nature. So make sure that you never do that. So anyways, obviously you can tell that I pulled out some of the tools. Now, all of the tools that you see on the counter, this is all stuff that was in the top of this toolbox. Everything that you see right here came out of the top right here. So basically, all I'm going to do is just clean up the dirt and debris. All of the drawers are full of stuff. And I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I love. I love opening stuff like this, and you really get to see, how people lived, how people worked, what kinds of items did they use. I mean, this is just extremely cool. This is an old Band-Aid, Johnson & Johnson, plain gauze pad, waterproof. That is just extremely cool. Even though, this might not be worth anything, it's just extremely cool. So I got a couple of those. I got these old little lead holders. This is how you used to buy lead. I mean, look how much time goes into making just the holder for this little lead. I mean, this little case is made out of metal. It really took a little bit of time to make. Stuff is just not made like this today. If you were to buy lead today, it's going to come in cardboard and plastic. And I just find stuff like this super cool. I am a huge collector of old stuff, especially really small items. So a lot of this stuff is probably just going to go into my collection. I got some old pins. This is let me see if I can see what that says. It is the International Union United Automobile Aircraft Agricultural Implement pin. Then I got some of these volunteer pins. And then these are really cool. These are old Berkeley razor blades. So that's really neat. And just some odds and ends. This is some old medicine. It's just a little old container. Some paper stuff down there. And then obviously you see a bunch of other items that a machinist would have or that a machinist would use. Got all these different kinds of files and just weird pieces of metal. I've actually purchased items like this before from people that was a machinist back in the early 1900s, and it's really common to find all of this type of stuff, especially if they actually was a machinist. So anyways, got a lot of really cool stuff in here, lots of really cool books, and also just really cool tools in general. I'm gonna have to look a lot of this stuff up. I'm not really sure the value of a lot of this stuff, but I've had stuff like this before, and I know that this stuff sells really good, and that's the reason why I purchased this toolbox. So let me go ahead and give you kind of a rundown on what they were asking for the toolbox and kind of how I kind of negotiated this deal, so that I would get the best deal. And they basically had a sticker on the toolbox they were asking $150 for the toolbox and all of the tools in the toolbox. Now, I didn't open up all the drawers, but just to give you an idea. So this is all full of tools. Everything in here is full of tools. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's boxes with just all kinds of different things. So I basically looked at it as, I know what the actual toolbox is worth, right? I've sold plenty of, antique, union, solid wood toolboxes like this in the past. So I have a really good idea of what a box like this is going to sell for. So I pretty much told myself, okay, they're wanting $150. I don't really know exactly how much I'm going to make off all of the tools, but I'm going to base my offer on what I think I can get for just the toolbox. So then if I don't make anything off of the tools, I know that I'm still going to make money. And that's basically how I thought about it and how I negotiated the deal. Another thing that I used was the fact that when people have an estate sale, they're trying to get rid of stuff. They don't want stuff left over. They want to get rid of as much stuff as possible. So what I did was I first asked them, hey, what's the best you can do on the toolbox with all of the tools? And then when they told me the price, $150, I said, are you willing to split the toolbox and the tools up? Now, I did not say this because I wanted them to split the toolbox and the tools up. I want the toolbox and I want all of the tools. But I said it because I want them to think that I'm after something, either just the toolbox or just the tools. And I know that they don't want to split it up because they're trying to sell all of it, right? So I use that, to my advantage. And so I basically just said, are you willing to split it up? They said, well, we really would like to sell everything as like a bundle, but we would be willing to split it up on the last day, Sunday of the sale. And I said, okay, well, yeah, I'm not going to be around on Sunday, so, if y'all are not willing to split it up, I guess I'll pass. And then that's when he said, well, what would you offer for everything? If you took everything today, how much would you offer? And I said $50. Now, obviously, I hit him with a low offer, right? And the reason for that is because I knew that he was looking to negotiate. You got to understand that in this reselling business, no matter who you are, the buyer or the seller, most of the times people like to negotiate. It's just the way it is, right? So I basically spit out an offer of $50, knowing that he was wanting to negotiate and see if he would counter offer. Maybe he would counter offer $60. Maybe he would counter off $100. Maybe he might only come down $5 and try to say, $145. You got to take a chance. You got to just make that offer and see what they say. He counter offered at $75 and I immediately shook his hand. So I got this for $75. I think the toolbox should sell for probably upwards of $200 to $250. And the reason that I say it is because of the condition. Now, I've had them in the past where the leather on the handle was completely demolished. The back piece of wood was rotted. I've had them where the little corner protectors were missing. The latches were missing. Really common with these toolboxes is that these handles will break off. But the overall condition of this box is amazing. It is amazing. The only thing that I'm going to have to fix before I sell this toolbox is this little piece right here is missing the screw. So I'm going to remove that screw and I'm going to take it up to Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and I'm going to try to find a match. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to find the exact match because that is a really old screw, but as long as I find one that fits it and doesn't really look too, different, then I'm okay with that. So anyways, it's just a really beautiful box. It's a really beautiful item. and I thought it was, you know, super unique. And this is really the whole reason why I made this video today, because I mean, yeah, the other stuff that I showed you, I'm gonna make money with those items, but this is the type of stuff that I really like to talk about. This is the type of stuff that I fall in love with, and this is why I am a reseller, because, you know, this is, you know, what I live for. I love finding stuff like this. It just is super cool, and I can only imagine that the person that's going to buy this is going to probably keep this box forever. You know, people use these as display pieces. If you were a machinist back in the day and you are a retired machinist, this would make a really good item to go inside your office, your study, something like that, right? So anyways, just wanted to, you know, kind of show y'all a little bit of the tools. Lots of really cool stuff, some really cool wrenches. These are made by a company called Billings. Got some Billings. This one's an Armstrong. I've had a lot of these, you know, tools in the past. Billings, Armstrong, those are two, you know, pretty common tool manufacturers from back in the day. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I wish I had more time. I would go through all of the drawers and show you everything that's in here. There's some really, really cool items. This is a really cool thing here. I mean, look how this was made. I mean, look at this little wooden box, all to hold this little caliper thing. It's amazing, man. It's just, you know, this type of stuff is super cool. So anyways, hope y'all liked today's video. Really cool item. Be on the lookout for stuff like this. Don't be scared to learn about stuff like this. Don't be scared to buy stuff like this, and build your knowledge so that when you see something like this out when you're sourcing, you can jump on, you know, you can jump on it and buy stuff like this without, you know, being scared that you're going to lose money. You know, so many resellers pass up antiques, they pass up collectibles and vintage items and things of that nature just because they don't know enough about it. That's why you need to learn, because there's a lot of money to be made out there, and stuff like this is all over the place. You just have to find it. Anyways, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching another video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'm out of here. Peace. Alrighty, so I just wanted to show everybody watching what the box looks like after I cleaned it up. All I did was replace the little screw right here, and I just basically cleaned it up, wiped it down with just a wet rag to just get all of the surface dirt off of it. And then what I do is I use this stuff, which is made by Howard. It is a feed and wax. It's just a wood polisher and conditioner, beeswax and orange oil. So this is really good stuff for anything that's made out of wood. It really does. It doesn't like lay down anything that makes the color change or anything of that nature. It definitely doesn't, you know, take away from the actual item. That's why I like to use stuff like that. But anyways, it made this box look completely beautiful. I can't believe how good it's turned out. On the leather handle, I basically just put just a little bit of leather conditioner on it, just to kind of soften it up a little bit so that it's not really brittle and so that it doesn't fall apart. Obviously, I cleaned out the box. I'll show you what it looks like. This box is really unique. So once you undo the main latch, then you have these other latches here. And once you pop those latches, see how it was like spring assisted? And so once you lift this up, these little things here, they pop up, and that releases this door. So that is just extremely cool. Just the way that this was made back then. I think I noticed it on the last toolbox that I had like this, but I don't think they actually worked. I think it's pretty rare to find this all in, you know, working condition. So anyways, I just basically cleaned it up. Didn't do anything really special, just cleaned out all of the drawers and try to get it to look as best as possible. So basically just vacuumed, you know, all of the drawers out, just try to get it all looking, you know, as good as possible. I'm not 100% sure if this mirror goes with the toolbox. but it has a mirror up there, and this was in it. So not really sure if this went with it or not. I don't know. I'll probably add it in there just in case, or I'll look online and see if I can find any more information. But yeah, it's a gorgeous piece. So glad that I bought it. It looks even better than it did. You know, it's always been an item that buyers, collectors, people want, so I don't think I'm gonna have any problem selling it. Just to give you kind of an idea of what was in the box, this is all of the tools. Excuse the mess, I'm actually in my kitchen, but this is all of the tools that was actually in the box. So you got these things here, which I'm not even sure what they are. Got just a bunch of different files, all kinds of different files and things of that nature. Drill bits, all kinds of just tools, lots of metal, lots of different little pieces of metal, bunches of wrenches. There was some books, some measuring devices for figuring out like different measurements, standard and things of that nature. Then there's a bunch of just random pieces of metal. Then these are all like different types of measuring devices and things of that nature in here, and also in here. So all of these tools that you see right here was inside of that little toolbox. It's kind of amazing because this is a lot of stuff, but it all fit inside of that toolbox. So anyways, just wanted to show y'all what the toolbox looked like after I got done cleaning it up, and give you an idea of the kind of tools that was in the toolbox. Again, if you're out there, you come across stuff like this, if you can buy it at a good price, go ahead and do so. You're going to be able to learn a lot, and you're going to be able to make money. Anyways, that's all.